I've said it time and time again, the Beatles have the greatest discography of all time, but that doesn't mean that every single album is a masterpiece. Actually, I think most fans would agree when I say that the early albums felt more like a way for the band to gain the freedom they used to break the mold later in their discography. Obviously, we all have love for these albums, but if we were faced with the question, which is the most irrelevant release by the Beatles, what would your answer be? Before we get into it, I want to set a few rules. You can't pick US only releases, and you can't pick albums that weren't supposed to be albums, like Magical Mystery Tour and Yellow Submarine, so go ahead, what's your answer? For me, it's pretty obvious, even though I love every single album by the band, and I personally believe this to be one of the best albums of 1963, With the Beatles was an album that meant almost nothing for the band. Their breakthrough was Please Please Me, and both Beatles for Sale and A Hard Day's Night have songs that showed an evolution in their songwriting. However, aside from maybe All My Loving, I see every composition on With the Beatles to be a redo of the songs in Please Please Me. The album also has songs I pretty much don't like I Wanna Be Your Man and Don't Bother Me, mainly because of how aggressively the vocals were mixed. But even then, I do recognize the value of the album inside the band's discography. This tracklist was a way better fit for American audiences, which is the reason why the album was remade into the band's first US release, Meet the Beatles. But still, that doesn't change the fact that compared to most of the band's releases, the boys barely went through any growth while recording this album. So if you ask me, With the Beatles is the most irrelevant release by the Beatles.